Well, I made a pretty catastrophic mistake. It had potential to cost me $6,000. Easy. In fact, stick around because it might almost cost me like $8,500. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This isn't good. So a few years ago, I finished up my Shelburne Farms collection, which when I first started making shadow boxes was like my first big collection. And it was of a bunch of architecture here in Vermont, some animals, and I'm sure you've seen it on Instagram and probably YouTube if you've seen some of my shadow box pieces. But the big signature piece, the Shelburne Farm Barn, which I had listed as $6,000. It took me 200 hours to create. So, you know, it's a reasonable price for what I was asking. And it didn't sell, which is fine. And actually, in hindsight, it was a blessing in disguise because look what happened to it. So it's been on display for a little while. I've had it actually at a restaurant in Shelburne, just hanging on the wall. Because it hadn't sold, it's been to a couple shows. There it sat. I went to pick it up last week and look, as soon as I took it off the wall, this roof can you see that? The section of roof that just fell off, they're in the bottom of the, look, they're down here. There's 2 roof sections. This one's gone too. So what happened is, and look, see this piece starting to fail? That thing fell out. Like, I wonder if I don't even want to tap on it. Obviously I have to redo this thing, but my point is, most of the super glue failed. Now this is before I started using Starbond, which is my trusted super glue sponsor. Super glue I'm using today, Starbond adhesives, baby. Code SAM10 or something like that for 10% off. Again, down below. Come over here and look at this piece. So this is a breeding barn, and this thing has stayed together perfect. This is like tried and true, just like the rest of my pieces I put out into the world. But the difference is, this is mounted on foam board. So that stuff is mounted on this foam board that you see me use quite a bit. The other stuff, like this big piece over here, is mounted on, I wonder if I have a piece of it still. I honestly think, oh yeah, here, look. So this is what I used to mount the piece that failed on. This is like that whiteboard material. It's actually a little sawdusty right now, but it's super glossy. And my foam board is matte, so that's a matte finish on that foam board. And I didn't want that glossy finish. I wanted a matte finish to match all my other backer boards. So what I did is I sprayed it with a matte white paint. And I think that's what killed me, because look, I think something, either it was the glue or the paint that I used, removed that glossy finish and the paint from, it just like took it off. So over here, I mentioned it almost cost me $8,500 because this is another big giant piece that I did. And I think I had this one listed for like $2,500. It's pretty big. I mean, I'm standing next to it. It's up to my waist. I can't remember exactly what it is, but something to the tune of like 25 by 36. I have not opened this one since I originally took down the exhibition. So this thing has been wrapped up for probably 2.5 years. What I want to do today is I want to open this piece up and see if my dreadful mistake happened, and I have a feeling it did, because I used the exact same thing, and honestly, this is a truck, or is like a big red farm truck, and the pieces were way bigger than those little pieces. So if those sections of roof fell off, ugh, it's not gonna be pretty. All right, so here we go. Dumb mistake. I've learned from, I haven't done it since. This is bad marketing, I'm sure, but I've only done this with 2 pieces, and I have both of them in my possession, and they didn't sell. It didn't, maybe it didn't cost me a pile of money. What the hell? Why is there rice in here? Look at that. Big chunk of, so interesting, it's just the black. It's just the ebony. That's a good sized chunk of fender. It's not supposed to look like that. Yeah, can you see that? No bueno. No bueno. Cool piece though, I kind of forgot about this thing. That is not what you want. That piece is supposed to be down there. So I'm gonna take this thing apart, see if I can't dissect it a little bit and figure out what went wrong. Either way, we're not using that board anymore. Keep the whiteboards in the classroom, okay? So this is just the way I seal them up for these big pieces. I know this doesn't look pretty, but it's actually not hurting the frame at all. Amistades falsos son los que me sobran pa que sepan y eso puedo comprobarles. No más cuando ven el queso como ratas luego empiezan a acercarse. Pero les tiro el veneno y se van porque la carita ya les arde. Yo a gusto trueno las pacas verdes llenas. I used hawk glue to put this in. You know, listen, I've probably done a few hundred of these since I did this, so if you're thinking about buying one, don't base it off of what you're seeing today. All right. So, well, here's this guy. Look at that. Yeah, this is definitely my old glue because it's, look at it, it's kind of sits up on the wood like that. That's a nice piece of wood though, I guess we'll save that. I mean, we're gonna redo this, so. It stayed nice and white, which I love. It's a pretty piece, what a bummer. Pop one of these off and see how easily it, ooh. Yeah, so this is the, what it is it's whatever that white finish that was originally put on this stuff. That's what's coming off. It's not my white paint. So that's good. I mean, I screwed up, but I didn't screw up like, I don't know, too bad, I suppose. Like I said, I've vowed not to use this junk again. Yeah, did you know how annoying they are when you're trying to make YouTube videos? That's a bummer. Part of me making this video is, in my head I was like, all right, I'm gonna find a solution, I'm gonna put it in the end of this video, but to be honest with you, I just don't know what the solution is. If I can get my hands on some like 4x8 sheets of foam board, maybe that's an option. The stuff is structured, I mean, 27 by 16 is pushing it for, I feel, for that, the thickness of that stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I need a pearly white matte background for these bigger pieces. You know, the big one, the Shelburne Farms one, is 6 feet long. I believe it's 72 inches wide. So I need something big. It's all one piece, seamless, so you just don't even see that background. It's you know, you want to focus on the art itself, and I just want that nice matte pearly white background. So if you guys have any insight for me, throw it in the comments. I'd love to hear it all. If you're like, maybe this will work, maybe this will, I don't know. But if it's a good idea, I'll try it, I'll test it out. I've got to find a solution for this because I do sell some of the bigger pieces and, you know, this is not gonna work. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Subscribe if you want to see me actually make stuff that doesn't break. This is just a, you know, a hey, don't use this. And also look at what this big mistake that I made was. So anyway, hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Amistades falsos son los que me sobran pa' que sepan y eso